In the last class, we were trying to talk about how to determine the RLs, that's the reduced levels, or elevations of various points along my leveling. Okay, so how to find out that RL values we started talking about, and we have said we are going to have two different types of methods by which we are going to be carrying out the determination of RL values of various points. Okay, so we are going to have what is called as height of instrument method, and we have also discussed about what is called as rise and fall method. So in the last class, we have tried to take up a small case, a small data regarding some leveling, what is carried out. And based on that particular data available, we started understanding how to calculate the RL values based on your height of instrument method. Okay, so now the next method by which we'll go ahead in understanding how to determine the RL values of various points is your rise and fall method. Now, what do we do in the case of this particular rise and fall method? Okay, so this method consists of determining the difference of levels between consecutive points by comparing each point with immediate preceding point. So what does this mean? So if I say this is my ground, and if I know somewhere here I have set up my instrument, okay, this is a position where I have set my instrument. This is how it is, my instrument. And let's say if I have taken, okay, line of sight should be horizontal. If this is some point where I have taken my leveling staff by placing the leveling staff vertical, let's say this point is some point A, some other point where I have taken my reading is some point B, some point, let's say it is C. So how do I calculate in this rise and fall method? How do we determine your RL values? Means what we are going to be looking at is determining the difference in level staff readings between the previous point and the next preceding point, immediately the next preceding point. That means, let's say the first reading what I have taken is at point A, which I am going to be calling it as backside. The next reading is intermediate side. If this point itself is the last point, that's the position of point C, where I am taking my last reading with this particular position of the instrument station. Okay, so accordingly, I understand the reading taken at A is backside, reading taken at B is intermediate side, reading taken at C is foresight. Now, the backside, whatever you have with regard to the position of point A minus the subsequent intermediate side, what you have taken with regard to the position of point B, the difference of these two values is what we are going to be calculating. And depending on this difference, if this difference value, whatever we are getting between the previous staff reading to that of its next to subsequent staff reading, first minus second, second minus third, third minus fourth. Likewise, if I am going to continue, so the difference in those staff readings, successive staff readings, is nothing but we try to calculate. And if that value comes out to be what is called as negative, then we write it as fall. And if that difference comes out to be positive, it means it is going to be rise. Okay, so depending on that rise and fall data, whatever we are going to be calculating, then we would go on to determine the RL values of various points. Okay, so the difference of these two, if I try to calculate, if it comes out to be negative, then it is what we call it as fall. That means second point is relatively at a lower position when compared to that of the first point. That's what it means. Because whenever your second point is at a lower elevation, then only your staff reading value is going to be high. If the staff reading value is high, then automatically it indicates that your first reading minus the next reading is going to be negative. In case if your these two values, if it is coming out to be positive, the difference of those two values, if it is coming out to be positive, then we call it as rise. It means the second point is at a higher elevation when compared to that of your first point. Right. So based on this rise and fall method, how to go on to determine your reduced levels? Let's now try to quickly have a look at it. So I am directly writing down my data, whatever the data that I have from that particular leveling which is carried out. So I am trying to put that data into a table. So by writing down your station, instead of calling it as specifically station, this station here doesn't mean it is instrument station, rather it is your staff station. Okay, So it is the position of your leveling staff where it is placed. Right. So the backside reading, whichever reading you feel that to be called as backside, that is to be listed under backside. Then subsequently intermediate side data and foresight data. Accordingly, you have to put that data properly into your table. Now, what is that we started talking about a little earlier? We said the difference between the first reading and its subsequent reading. Okay, so what is my first reading here is 0.9 meters. Next to subsequent reading is 1.1 meters. So 0.9 meters minus 1.1 meters. So 0.9 minus 1.1 is nothing but minus 0.2. So what does minus indicate? It's a fall. Okay, so under, I repeat, under fall category, I have to be writing down that particular data. See, under rise and fall, in the first row, you will not have any data represented. Why? Because you don't have any point before that first point. Okay, so that itself is the first point, and the rise or fall value we calculate with respect to the first value to its next preceding value, immediate preceding value. Okay, so that's why we start writing the data of rise or fall from your second row only. Okay, so now look at your second point and your third point. Second point has staff reading which is 1.1 meter. Third point which has got your staff reading which is 1.05 meter. So 1.1 minus 1.05. So what is it indicating? 1.1 minus 1.05 means your second, that's your 1.05 meter point is at a lower elevation, is at a relatively higher elevation when compared to that of your 1.1 meter. Because reading on the leveling staff, if it is high, it indicates that your point where you are measuring, where you are placing your leveling staff is at a lower elevation. Okay, so then only your line of sight on the leveling staff would give you a higher value. Okay, right. So now 1.1 minus 1.05, if I calculate, I'll be getting it as plus 0.05 meters. So whenever it is plus, it has to be listed under your rise data. Okay, right. So backside till foresight you have reached. There is a change in the instrument station. So once there is a change in instrument station, then next immediately when you are going to be talking about after shifting the instrument, then what is your data that you are trying to collect? That is the backside at point C and immediately the subsequent foresight at another point. Okay, so we end our discussion with this foresight data here itself, and then once the instrument station got shifted, then your rise and fall values will be once again calculated with respect to your backside minus intermediate site or intermediate site minus foresight. Never you write your rise and fall values after reaching to your foresight data. That means you are shifting your instrument. So once the instrument is shifted, you will not calculate your rise and fall taking the reference of foresight minus backside. Okay, we will not be doing that, because with the foresight itself, the instrument station of that particular data is completed. Then we are moving on to the next instrument station. So with the next instrument station, whatever data that we have got, that's nothing but the backside at point C is 1.45 meters minus the intermediate site, which here we don't have any more intermediate sites, rather it is your foresight. That's the next preceding staff reading. Okay, so 1.450 minus 1.550, which is nothing but which is minus 0.1. So minus indicates it's a fall value, so it has to be written under your fall. So I have represented all your data either under rise or either under fall, depending on how it is calculated. Now once you know the subsequent data either as to be called as rise or fall, then now let's go on to calculate what is called as your RL values. So let's see how to calculate the RL values of various points, because already we know what is the RL value of point A, because point A is your benchmark point. So we know what is the RL value of point A. So RL value of point A is nothing but 100 meters. So that I can directly write down in your table, which is nothing but corresponding to point A, the RL value is 100 meters. Now, next I want to calculate what is the RL value corresponding to point B position, point C position, and point D position. Now, if I want to calculate what is my RL value at point B, RL at point B is equal to RL what I had with respect to the previous point, that is point A, plus R minus your rise or the data which is called as rise or fall. Okay, so if it is rise, we will be using your plus symbol. If it is a fall, then we'll be using your minus symbol, because when we have calculated the difference between the previous staff reading to the next immediate preceding staff reading, whatever that difference value we have got, we have represented it as either rise or fall. Okay, the same value we are going to be adding there. Okay, so if I say if I am going to be adding, then what is your RL value of your point B? RL value of point B is nothing but RL value of point A, which is 100. Okay, next 100. What is the data that I have immediately corresponding to point B? Whether the data is with respect to rise or with respect to fall. Okay, so let me erase all these unnecessary lines which I have marked. Okay, right. Now, if I want to calculate my RL value at the point B position with respect to this point B position, so RL value with respect to point B is equal to RL with respect to point A plus or minus, I'll call it as rise or the fall data which we are going to be indicating. Okay, so now when I am trying to talk about what is how it is to be calculated, so RL value of point A is 100. And now whether I should be writing it here as plus value or minus value means what is that I have got with regard to point B position, whether I have got that data under fall or whether I have got that data under rise. If I have that point B data under fall, then I have to subtract, because fall is negative, which we have already said. So minus 0.2, which gives me 99.80 meters. That's the RL value of your point B. Likewise, now if I want to calculate what is the RL value of point C, so what becomes my RL value of point C? Sorry, yeah, point C, which is equal to RL value of the previous point, that is point B, plus or minus the subsequent rise or fall data what we have got with regard to point C position. Okay, with respect to point C position, where is the data I have represented it under? It is represented under your rise. So rise means it is positive. Okay, so previous RL value is 99.8, as rise is a positive one, so plus 0.05. So what it comes out to be 99.85 meters is the RL value of your point C. Now, likewise, what is my RL value of point D? RL value of point D is nothing but RL value of point C, this value, and whether I have your point D correspondingly data represented under rise or fall. So it is represented under fall. So fall is a negative quantity. So RL value of the previous point is point C, RL is 99.850, and as it is a fall data, so minus 0.1. So 99.850 minus 0.1 is going to be my RL value at point D position. Okay, so that's how we go on to calculate your RL values at various points based on your rise and fall method. Okay, so if you want, you can compare your data what we have calculated. Okay, so RL values at point A was 100, at point B was 99.8, at point C 99.85, and at point D 99.75. The same thing what we are also getting from your rise and fall method. So it doesn't matter whether you are trying to calculate based on your height of instrument method or whether you are calculating based on what is called as rise and fall method. It doesn't matter. The values what you are going to be getting is the same. Okay, the RL values what you are interested in calculating would come out to be same, irrespective of which method you follow. Okay, we'll try to solve more problems by making use of your height of instrument method or rise and fall method. Okay, so which we'll try to take up immediately after talking about some of couple of points. Right. So the next topic what we'll move on with is what are the different types of errors that we come across in leveling. Okay. So in general, whenever we talk about the errors, always we come across with the common type of representative errors only, like personal errors, instrumental errors. Okay. And sometimes what is called as your instrumental errors, we call it as systematic errors and so on. But otherwise, you don't call, you don't have natural errors. Okay. These are some three common systematic type of representing your errors: personal errors, instrumental errors, and your natural errors. Now, what all comes under your personal errors? I need not be focusing much on these things, because for earlier instruments also we have talked about. But with regard to that particular instruments, we have talked about those errors. But here the instrument is different, and already we have talked about the functioning of that particular instrument. So accordingly, we have to understand what could be listed under personal errors, what could be listed under instrumental errors, what could be listed under your natural errors. Yeah, under personal errors, what are different personal errors that we might come across with? Personally, when we are trying to carry out that leveling, what are errors that we are going to be committing? Okay, so one could be improper leveling of the instrument, improper focusing of your eyepiece and object lens or object glass, or you might come across with parallax error, or the position of the staff may have got changed. Instead of placing exactly over some point, instead of placing over some point where you wanted to determine the elevation, you might have placed your leveling staff at some other point. Entry and recording in the field book may not be correct. You might have taken your readings properly from the field, but while noting it down, you might have committed some mistake. And while sighting through the instrument on the leveling staff, you have sighted properly, but the way how that leveling staff is placed there is not proper. In the sense, what happens is, as we have earlier discussed, the leveling staff has got some levels which are pushed one into the other. When you are raising the leveling staff, next piece, next piece, next piece, so you should be very careful. You should not be pulling the leveling staff from the top directly. You should not be taking the top portion of your leveling staff. What would happen is, when you are sighting the instrument, if improper pulling is done in your leveling staff, top piece which has got higher readings data indicated will be sighted, and automatically the readings whatever you are taking through that leveling staff are not correct readings. So whenever you are pulling your leveling staff for next pieces, so you have to start pulling it from the bottom and then move on to the top. Okay, so you have to be very careful when you are trying to extend your leveling staff in the vertical direction. So you have to extend your leveling staff by pulling it from the bottom, not from the top piece. What are the different instrumental errors in common? Defect because of your bubble tube. Bubble tube may not be responding properly. It could be sluggish in nature. There is not proper movement in the bubble tube. Though it is not exactly the center position of the instrument, still if your bubble tube is showing the center, it means that your bubble tube is not proper, and automatically the leveling what you are achieving is not proper. And there could be some issues with regard to the permanent adjustments in your instrument. Permanent adjustments in the sense, your line of collimation is not coinciding with the axis of your bubble tube. Our line of collimation is not coinciding with your, line of collimation is not parallel to the axis of your bubble tube. Our line of collimation is not coinciding with the axis of the telescope. And your axis of the bubble tube is not perpendicular to the vertical axis. So all these are your permanent adjustments, which we have already talked about. So if your permanent adjustments of the instruments are not perfect, then automatically you come across with the errors. So such errors, we call it as your instrumental errors. If your focusing tube is not proper, your telescope, what you have got, the focusing tube existing in the telescope, if it is not proper, where you are not able to focus the object properly, so it is obviously called as your instrument station, error with regard to your instrument. Or if the readings on the leveling staff, if the markings on the leveling staff, if they are not proper, improper markings, or you don't see the divisions properly, the paint, whatever is existing on the leveling staff is gone. So the measurements, whatever you take with regard to that improper instrument, are called as your instrumental errors. Errors due to natural causes. Natural causes in the sense, here in the last class already we have talked about, when the reading what is taken on some point by placing the leveling staff, if it is relatively far away from your instrument station, then we said we come across with the effect of your curvature and the effect of refraction. Okay, so the curvature effect of the earth would come into picture, and the effect of refraction would come into picture, because of which the readings taken on the leveling staff are not correct readings. There could be some errors while taking the readings on the leveling staff. There could be some errors because of heavy winds, because when there is a heavy wind, when you are trying to hold your leveling staff like this, because of the effect of wind, your leveling staff might have some inclination. It may not be exactly standing vertically, because the wind might be pushing the position of your leveling staff, because of which you might have some inclination in the position of the leveling staff when you are holding it. And automatically, with that inclined position, the reading taken on the leveling staff is not obviously the correct reading. Okay. These are different types of errors that we are going to be talking about. So one is personal errors, instrumental errors, and your natural errors. Likewise, whenever you are trying to talk about leveling, more common type of errors what one would commit. It could be either under which could either come under what is called as your personal error, or maybe your instrumental errors, or maybe your what is called as your natural errors. Because of whatever it is, more commonly when you are carrying out your leveling, the common type of mistakes that we commit while carrying out that leveling surveying. Okay, surveying related to leveling. So in such case, what are those common type of errors that we commit? So some of those common errors what we commit is the foresight and backsight not being taken on the exactly the same point. So whenever you are having the shift in the instrument station, we are required to be very careful that with respect to whichever point the instrument is being shifted from one place to the other place. So you should have the foresight data at that point and the backside data at that point. So if you miss any of that data, automatically there is no meaning in talking about calculating the RL values with that improper data. Reading the staff upwards instead of downwards. So we should understand that the readings of the staff goes from from bottom to higher values towards the top, not that 0 on the top and higher values towards the bottom. So whenever you read your leveling staff readings, you should read it from bottom to top. Let's say 1.1 meter is somewhere here, and 1.2 meters will not be towards downside, rather it is going to be towards upward, because in the upward direction, the elevations or the markings on the leveling staff are in the increased manner. The reading of stadia hair. Stadia hair means when you are trying to focus through the eyepiece, you have cross-slit hair which is coinciding what is called as a red or black mark on your leveling staff. So you should properly have a focusing onto that mark which is there on the leveling staff, either indicated in black and white or red and white. So you should see that accordingly, and you should be properly reading the data, what is exactly to be read from your leveling staff. Reading of wrong number of meter and decimeter or centimeter. It means when you are trying to note down the data by looking at your leveling staff, you should be properly reading those divisions, like 1.145 meters. Likewise, accurately you have to read the data. If you are not accurately reading the data, then automatically the readings what you are noting down in your field book and then transforming into a table for calculating your RL values of those various points, they are not going to be very accurate. Entering the backside in foresight and vice versa. So you might have taken the readings properly, but while noting it in your field book, instead of listing it under backside, you might be writing it under your foresight, or instead of writing it under foresight, you might be sometimes writing it under backside because of some slight confusion. Okay. And maybe errors because of you are transposing the figures, like you might want to draw some rough sketches improper drawing of that rough sketches, which will give you a confusion that, okay, whether my reading, the next reading is indicating a rise in the ground or fall in the ground, that would lead to some confusion. And omitting an entry means you have taken the reading, but you forgot to note down that reading. So that is what is called as an omitting a reading. And leveling staff not being fully extended. So when you are trying to take the readings on the leveling staff, that's what I have said. So instead of pulling it properly in the upward direction, if you try to directly pull the top piece of the leveling staff, which has got the higher elevation readings, so if you are bisecting that higher elevation readings, there is a possibility of committing mistakes. So it's better that you pull your leveling staff according to your requirement to its full capacity, so that possibility of committing mistakes while taking the readings on the leveling staff could be neglected. Now, next, moving on to understand what are those different natural errors which we have talked about, like effect of curvature and effect of refraction. So the effect of curvature, how do we apply the correction for the curvature, and how do we apply the correction for your refraction? So as I told you, whenever your instrument station is at some point and the position where you are trying to take the leveling staff reading is relatively far away from the instrument station, so the effect of the curvature of the earth is coming into picture as you are trying to move relatively far, okay? And effect of refraction is coming into picture. Your line of sight is not exactly going to be bisecting the leveling staff. Rather, you will have a refraction with regard to your line of sight, and then your readings measured are not very much accurate because of that curvature effect, what is in turn introducing your refraction. Now, just look at here. If this is the curvature, what is taken into consideration of your ground, okay, right? So with respect to the instrument, we assume this to be your line of sight, but your level surface, what we are going to be having, taking into consideration of the curvature of earth, level surface is going to be like this. Now, on the on that level surface, if I try to draw a line which is called as your level line, so difference in elevation between, I repeat, difference in elevation and between your horizontal line. Horizontal line, how are we defining? Horizontal line we are trying to define with regard to the line of sight from the instrument position, okay, by drawing a horizontal line from the instrument station position, because this is your horizontal surface, what we call it, and a line drawn on that horizontal surface is called as a horizontal line, correct? Now look at here. If this is my position of the leveling staff, this inclined one, what is that we are seeing is nothing but the leveling staff, what we are holding. So why is the position of the leveling staff inclined? Because as the curvature of the earth is taken into consideration, so at that position with that curvature, I might, with regard to this position, it is vertical only, but the curvature of the earth has come into picture, because of which this much error we are trying to come across with while taking your reading, okay? So this error is what we call it as your curvature error. Now, what is this curvature error going to be doing? And this much error what you have got here is what is called as your refraction error. The elevation difference or the difference in reading with regard to the horizontal line position to that of your line of sight is what we call it as your refraction error, okay? So let us understand. For long sights, the curvature of earth can affect the staff readings. The line of sight is horizontal, but the level line is curved and parallel to the mean spheroidal surface of the earth, okay? So the line of sight is going to be horizontal, but the level line what we are going to be looking at is going to be curved, and it is parallel to your geoid or mean spheroidal surface of the earth. The vertical distance between the line of sight and your level line, what you are representing on your level surface at particular place, is called as your curvature correction. So that elevation difference between your line of sight and your level line, what is represented on the level surface, that elevation difference between those two lines is called as your curvature correction. And the effect of curvature is to cause the object sighted, whatever the object that you are trying to sight, the leveling staff at some particular point. Okay, so when you are trying to sight that leveling staff, it appears to be lower than that of its real position. Okay, so really the leveling staff should be looking somewhere here, but due to the effect of curvature what you are trying to consider, it appears to be relatively lower than that of its exact position. When it appears to be relatively lower than that of its exact position, then the reading what we get on the leveling staff is going to be higher than that of the correct reading what I am supposed to be getting on the leveling staff. Okay, so that higher reading indicates that correction has to be a negative correction what I should be doing for your curvature. So that's the reason why we say curvature correction or correction for curvature when you are talking about this leveling. Correction for curvature is always a negative correction, which we call it as a subtractive one. So whatever the leveling staff reading that you have got, from that leveling staff reading, I have to subtract for your correction related to curvature. Now, what is the correction related to the curvature? Let's say I'm indicating the correction related to the curvature as something CC. So where the correction related to the curvature is given as 0.0785 d square in terms of the meters. Okay, I'll be getting that correction for curvature in terms of meters, but however, this d value has to be substituted in kilometers. This is an empirical relationship. Okay, so it's an empirical relation, so you have to be little careful. Though you are substituting the d value, what is this d value? It is the distance, horizontal distance between the instrument station position to that of your point where you are placing your leveling staff. That distance in kilometers. Okay, so I'll be substituting that d value in kilometers, and depending on the d value substituted in kilometers, we get what is called as your correction for curvature. And we said correction for curvature is always a negative quantity. Then what is your true staff reading or the correct staff reading means? It is your observed staff reading minus curvature correction. Okay, so why are we saying minus? Because we are saying always the curvature correction is negative, because your position of the object sighted is appeared to be lower than that of its exact position. So that's the reason why the observed staff reading is going to be higher than that of the correct value. So as the observed value is higher than that of the correct value, so you have to subtract from your observed value the correction. Okay, so if I subtract your correction value, which is equal to correction for curvature, which is equal to 0.0785 into d square, where d is to be substituted in kilometers, then we get what is your correction for curvature, and that correction for curvature is what we subtract from your observed staff reading, so that we get what is your true staff reading value. Okay. Next is refraction correction. Okay, so what does this refraction correction mean? The ray of light pass through layers of air of different densities, and refractor bent down. Okay, so when your ray of light, which is indicating you the line of sight, when it is passing through different layers of air of different densities, okay, so, and refractor, you would see a bent down condition of your the sight or the horizontal line. The effect of refraction is to make the object appear higher than they are really are, because your line of sight is actually lower. Okay, so your line of sight position, as what we have seen earlier. Okay, so your line of sight is somewhere here, but however your horizontal line, because of the effect of your refraction, is looking relatively at a higher position. So what does it mean? It means that the effect of refraction is to make the object appear higher than they are really. Okay, so when the object whatever I am trying to focus is appearing to be higher than that of its exact position, so the readings taken on the leveling staff are going to be the improper readings, and whatever value that I get is a lesser value when compared to the measured value is going to be lesser, or observed value is going to be lesser than that of your true value. Okay, so how do I calculate the true value in such case? True value or true staff reading is equal to observed staff reading plus the refraction correction. Okay, because why do we say refraction correction is positive? Means when you are trying to sight any object, the position of the object appears to be above than that of its original position. Okay, when it is appeared to be above, then automatically the staff reading what we get on that leveling staff is a lesser value when compared to that of the correct value. Okay, as the measured or observed value is lesser than that of the correct value, then obviously that correction is going to be a positive correction. So that's the reason why we say always your correction for refraction is positive. So if you can look at here, this is the expression what we are going to be making use of for applying the correction for refraction, and we say it is always additive in the sense it's a positive correction. So how do we calculate your true staff reading? True staff reading is nothing but it is equal to observed staff reading plus refraction correction. So that's how you apply what is called as your curvature correction for your staff reading data and refraction correction for your staff reading data. And depending on that, and we talk about this curvature correction and refraction correction only in the cases when your instrument station position is relatively very far away from the with respect to the point where you are taking your staff readings. Okay, so only in such cases we talk about this effect of curvature and effect of refraction. Otherwise, we don't talk about the effect of curvature and refraction. Okay, so let's now go on to solve some problems with regard to how to determine the RL values of various points. Okay, so where you have taken your staff readings either by height of instrument method or either by your rise and fall method. Okay, so let's read the problem statement what is given here. The following staff readings were observed successfully with a level. The instrument is moved by 3rd, 6th and 8th readings. Now, what does this mean? I am using some leveling instrument to take some leveling staff readings at various points. And what is said is, instrument is moved by 3rd, 6th and 8th readings. By 3rd, 6th and 8th readings means, after taking the 3rd reading, there is a shift in instrument position. After taking so-called 6th reading, there is a shift in the instrument station position. After taking my 8th reading, there is a shift in the instrument station position. That is what is indicated. Now let us understand how many readings are given here. How many readings data I have got? Staff readings data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So I have staff readings data with me, and what is said is, after this 3rd staff reading, there is a shift in instrument. After this 6th staff reading, there is a shift in the instrument. After this 8th staff reading, there is a shift in the instrument. Okay, so we have to carefully understand how to write down this particular data in your table. Whether the data, whatever I have in the form of staff readings, whether it has to be listed under your back site or intermediate site or foresight. Because once you write down the data properly under back site or intermediate site and foresight, the next process is to calculate the RL values either based on height of instrument method or either based on your rise and fall method. Okay, so let's quickly go through how to write down the data in your table. So if I start noting down that particular data in the table, anyhow, I'll be showing in the next slides. I'm just trying to draw the rough sketch of the table for indicating you the data. This is the staff station, or the position where your staff is being held, or you are holding your staff and you are taking your reading. And back side, intermediate side, foresight, and if we are going by height of instrument method, then we'll be writing it as HI, that is height of instrument, and then RL and any remarks. Under the remarks, you can note down like, okay, if that is the point where you had your benchmark, so you can write down it as the benchmark point. Or if, with respect to that point, if your instrument station position is getting changed, then you can write down that. So whatever remarks you want to make it, you can make it under your remarks column, right? And first, let us understand what is the complete question that is given. Enter the reading in record book and calculate RL values if the first reading was taken at a benchmark of 432.383 meters. Okay, let's say the first reading what we have taken is on some point which I am calling it as point A. And that first reading, where is it taken? It is taken on a benchmark point. In the remarks, I'll write down. Okay, point A is nothing but it is that corresponding point which we are referring it as your benchmark point. And what is the RL value of that corresponding benchmark point? RL value of that corresponding benchmark point is 432.383 meters. You need not write everywhere meters. In this RL itself, in the bracket, you mention it as meters. In the sense, whatever numbers you represent under your RL column, everything are represented in meters. That's it. Okay, this is the data what I have. Now let's go on to write down your readings accordingly, either under backside or intermediate side and or foresight. Okay, where is the first reading taken? On the benchmark point. That is nothing but at point A. When the leveling staff is placed, you have got some leveling staff reading. So obviously the first reading is to be noted down under your backside. So all this backside data is to be represented in meters, intermediate side data in meters, foresight data in meters, height of instrument, whatever we are trying to calculate will also be in meters. Okay. So 2.228 is to be represented under your backside because that's the first reading. After which reading the instrument is getting shifted? After third reading. I repeat, the third reading is the last reading what we are taking with respect to that instrument station position. Okay, so when I say third reading is the last reading which you are trying to take with regard to the instrument station position, then what about your second reading? Second reading, where should I write down? So second reading, we are going to be writing it under what is called as intermediate side. Okay, so second reading is taken, let's say on some point, which I'm calling it as point B. So under that point B, the corresponding staff reading is what is listed under your intermediate side. Next, the third reading is said to be the last reading before shifting the instrument. So last reading, whatever you are trying to talk about, which is to be listed under your third reading, which is taken on point C, let's say. So that reading is what we are going to be writing it under your foresight reading. So what is that third reading? 0.988. And after third reading, instrument got shifted. Instrument got shifted to some other new position. And after shifting the instrument, then where are we going to take the staff reading immediately? Staff reading is going to be taken immediately on the same point where you have taken your last reading. Same point in the sense, on point C only, the next reading is going to be taken. Okay, so what is my next reading? 2.090 meters is my next reading. So where it is to be listed under? At point C only, it has to be listed under. But it should be represented as your backside. Why it is to be represented as your backside under your point C? Because with respect to the position of point C, you had one foresight reading, which is said to be the last reading with respect to instrument station 1, and you have what is called as the backside, which is said to be the first reading after shifting your instrument to some new position 2. Okay, so that's the reason why about your point C, you are going to have what is called as a foresight, you are going to have what is called as a backside. So you have to carefully understand that. And then in the remarks column, I can try to write down with respect to your C position. This I can say change point 1. Okay, so this is the first time where I had a shift in my instrument from one position to the other position, one place to the other place, because of which I have what is called as a foresight as well as a backside with respect to point C. Okay, next. Fourth data point is already represented into your record book. That is your table. Next, fifth reading, that is 2.864. So this 2.864, where should I write down? Should I write it down under backside or intermediate side or foresight? I will not be writing it under backside because It's not the first reading after setting up your instrument at new location. So obviously it is not the backside. And 2.864 meters is not the last reading with regard to your instrument station at new position. What is my last reading with regard to the instrument station at new position? Instrument is getting shifted after the sixth reading. In this data what is given, the sixth reading is this one. This is the sixth reading. After the sixth reading, the instrument is getting shifted, in the sense your fifth reading, whatever we have here, that is 2.864 meters, is to be listed under your intermediate site. So 2.864 meters, which is taken at some other new point, that is point B. So which is listed under your intermediate site. Likewise, the other respective data are also to be indicated. So when you are going to be indicating the other data, you will be getting the data in the table like this. Okay, so first point, second point, third point, fourth point, fifth point, and immediately after your sixth point, there is a change in instrument station. So automatically the sixth point is to be represented as your foresight. And after taking the sixth reading, your instrument got shifted to some other new position. And obvious that once the instrument got shifted to some other new position, whatever the first reading that is taken on the leveling staff with respect to the same position where your leveling staff was held earlier. Okay, so there itself you are going to be writing down your seventh reading, but that seventh reading is going to be listed under what is called as your backside. Okay, and what is said is after eighth reading, once again your instrument got shifted. I repeat, after eighth reading, immediately your instrument got shifted. So when I say my instrument got shifted immediately after eighth reading, so automatically that eighth reading has to be listed under your foresight. And my ninth reading becomes the backside, what I am going to be taking with regard to the same location, where by holding the leveling staff at the same position, with respect to which already I had what is called as your foresight. So my ninth reading is this. And you have only 10 readings given, so automatically the last reading, whatever you have, will be listed under your foresight. So see here, this is the first reading, second, third reading, fourth reading, fifth reading, this is the sixth reading, seventh reading, eighth reading, ninth reading, and 10th reading. So once we write down properly your data under backside or intermediate site or foresight, once that data is properly represented in your leveling book, field book, then next objective is to calculate the RL values. So before we start calculating the RL values, as we are dealing with what is called as height of instrument method. So in the case of height of instrument method, how do we go ahead in calculating the height of instrument method? How do we write down the height of instrument method? As what we have seen earlier. So how do we write down that height of instrument method? How do we calculate the height of instrument based on the RL value, what we have got with regard to the benchmark point? Okay. So once we know the RL value with respect to your benchmark point, on that benchmark point, you had your leveling staff reading when the instrument is placed at some location. So with a line of sight. So what does height of instrument indicate? Height of instrument indicates that the height at which the line of collimation or the line of sight of this instrument is existing from the reference datum. So at what height this line of sight of the instrument is existing means it is nothing but it is equal to the RL value of that benchmark point plus the leveling staff reading what you had when reading is taken by placing the staff on that benchmark point. Okay. So 432.384 is your RL value of that benchmark point plus the staff reading what you had when the leveling staff is placed on that benchmark point is 2.228 meters. So RL value of your benchmark point is 432.384 plus the staff reading what you had on that benchmark point. So if I add 432.384 plus 2.228, I'll be getting the height of instrument as 434.6 434.612 meters. So 434.612 meters becomes my height of the instrument. And once the height of the instrument is known, then I can go on to calculate your RL values of the next successive points where I have taken your staff readings with respect to that first instrument station position. Okay. So what becomes my RL value? The RL value of this 0.1 is nothing but it is equal to the RL value of the benchmark only, because the 0.1 you are calling it as your benchmark point. And the second point's RL value, if I want to calculate, so RL value of your second point is nothing but RL value of, not the RL value of the previous point. It is the height of, based on height of the instrument we are trying to talk about. So what is the height of the instrument that we have got with respect to that instrument setup now? Okay, so height of the instrument is 434.612 meters. And from that height of the instrument value, I am going to be subtracting 1.606 meters. So 434.612 minus 1.606 will give you what is called as 434.006. That is going to be your RL value at second point. Next, RL value at third point, third location where your leveling staff is placed. Okay, so how do I calculate? Once again, height of the instrument minus the staff reading what you had with regard to that third point. 434.612 minus 0.988. Okay, so 434.612 minus 0.988 is going to give you the RL value of your point C. Sir, at point C, that's at third point, I have what is called as a foresight, I have what is called as a backside. Sir, what should I do with this backside data then? What is this backside? Backside is nothing but the first reading that you are taking on a leveling staff at a point after shifting the instrument. It means after the so-called third reading which I had earlier, instrument got shifted. After shifting that instrument, that so-called reading which I have taken is here 2.090, which we are calling it as a backside, which is at your point C, according to my earlier discussion where I have noted down your data in my table. So this I called it as point A, point B, point C, point D, let's say point E, point F, and maybe point G, like this. Now, what are these point A, B, C, D, E, F, G? They are the points where your leveling staffs are placed, are points where you wanted to calculate your RL values. So where all you wanted to calculate your RL values, there you have placed your leveling staff and you have taken the staff readings with regard to that particular point. Okay, so whenever you have your foresight data as well as the backside data represented with respect to a particular point, which indicates that with respect to that particular point, the instrument is getting shifted. Okay, when there is a shift in the instrument, obvious that you are going to have, with respect to the same point, you are going to have what is called as a foresight data, and you are going to have what is called as your backside data. Now, how are we going to make use of this backside data in the height of the instrument method? So this backside data at point C is going to be used once again for calculating the height of the instrument when it is shifted to new position. Now, what is the height of the instrument after shifting it? The height of the instrument after shifting it is equal to the RL value of your point C, which you have already calculated, plus the backside reading which you have taken by placing the leveling staff at point C. See, procedure is the same. It's a kind of repetition. Even if you start with the first point, that is point A, we know the RL value of point A, and we know what was the backside reading that I had with respect to point A. So height of instrument is nothing but the RL value of point A plus the backside reading what you had at point A. Now, likewise, what is the height of instrument with regard to the second shift? When you have shifted your instrument, then what is the height of that line of collimation of the instrument? The height of that instrument at point C position is nothing but it is equal to the RL value of point C plus the backside reading what I have got with regard to point C position. Okay, so RL value of point C is 433.624 plus backside reading of backside reading on that point C position is 2.090 meters. So 433.624 plus 2.090 will give you what is called as your 435.714. Okay, so height of instrument with regard to second location is known. Yeah, then with regard to point D position where the leveling staff is placed, your staff reading is 2.864. With regard to the new instrument position, I am taking my staff readings. Then what is RL value of point D? RL value of point D is nothing but height of that instrument minus the staff reading what I had with regard to your point D position. Height of the instrument is 435.714 minus 2.864 gives me what is called as 432.850, which is the RL value at point D. Now, likewise, what is the RL value at point E? RL value at point E. If I look at point E, I have what is called as the foreside data. I have what is called as the backside data. It means instrument is getting shifted. Wherever you see there is a change in the instrument station. I repeat, wherever you see there is a change in the instrument station, at that place, foreside data is used for calculating the RL value of that point based on this height of instrument method. Whereas your backside data is used for calculating the height of the instrument after shifting it. Okay, so now what is going to be the RL value of point E? RL value of point E is nothing but height of the instrument, the previous position of the height of the instrument with regard to the last reading what you have taken, which we are calling it as your foresight reading. Okay, so height of the instrument is 435.714 minus your foresight reading, that is your 1.262, will give you the RL value at point E. Once the RL value at point E is known, as the instrument got shifted to some new other position, so what is going to be the height of instrument with regard to new position means it is nothing but it is equal to your RL value at point E plus the backside reading whatever you had with regard to your point E position. Okay, RL value at point E is 434.452 plus the backside data what we have with regard to point E is 0.602. So 434.452 plus 0.602 gives you what is called as 435.054. Okay, so once the height of the instrument with regard to third time when it is set up is known, then we'll go on to calculate your RL value of the next subsequent points. Okay, so what is the RL value of point F if I want to go on to calculate? So it is very clearly understood that at point F, you have one foresight reading data, you have one backside reading data. So it means that after taking this reading on point F, which is called as your foresight data 1.982 meters, instrument got shifted. Okay, now what is the RL value of your point F? RL value of your point F is equal to the height of the instrument, what I have currently set up, which is 435.054 meters. I repeat, 435.054 meters is the height of the instrument currently with respect to which this foresight data is taken. Okay, so that height of the instrument is 435.054 minus the staff reading what I have taken on point F will give you what is your RL value of point F. Once the RL value of point F is known, then what we understand is with respect to this point F, instrument is getting shifted. Once instrument is getting shifted, then what is the height of that instrument at its new position? Okay, so height of the instrument at its new position is nothing but the RL value of point F plus the backside data what you have with regard to your point F position will give you what is called as your height of the instrument when it is placed for the fourth time in your field. Okay, so here I have calculated once the height of the instrument, look at here, this is once the height of the instrument is calculated, it means instrument is set for the first time. This is once again, I have calculated my height of the instrument. It means that instrument is set on the ground for the second time. This is third time I have calculated your height of the instrument. It means that instrument is set for the third time in the field at some location. And this is the fourth time I have calculated my height of the instrument. It means that your instrument is set and leveled in the field for the fourth time. Okay. Yeah. So I have calculated my height of instrument after placing it for the fourth time in the field at some location. Then next, what is your RL value of your point G? RL value of point G is nothing but height of that instrument station position now minus the subsequent staff reading what I have, which is under your foresight, because that itself is the last reading what I am trying to look in my leveling. Okay. So 434.116 minus 2.684 gives you what is the RL value of your point G. See, in this particular complete story, there are certain points what are to be very clearly understood. Okay. One is understanding the staff readings and writing those staff readings in your level book properly. So what does that level book contain? It contains the columns like at which point or which station or which location you have taken your leveling staff reading, whether the reading is to be listed under backside or intermediate site or foresight. Okay. So all those readings what are given to you are to be properly represented in your leveling book under either backside or intermediate site or foresight. Now, if it is based on height of the instrument, if this particular approach what you are adopting for calculating the RL values is based on the height of the instrument, then after noting down the data properly in the table, either under listing it under backside and intermediate site and foresight, then now follow two steps properly. First step is to calculate, because that's the first time when the instrument is set up in the ground, calculate the corresponding height of the instrument. How do we calculate the corresponding height of the instrument? The height of the instrument is going to be calculated based on the RL value of that respective first point which is already given to you. And you had what is called as the backside reading which is taken on your first point. Okay. So RL plus the backside gives you what is called as height of the instrument there. Height of the instrument wherever it is set for the first time on the ground. Okay. For next subsequent points, until your instrument is not getting shifted, for the next subsequent points, if you want to calculate the RLs, RL of the next subsequent point is equal to height of my instrument minus the corresponding staff reading what I had at that next subsequent point. At second point, if I want to know the RL, then what was my height of the instrument minus the staff reading what I had at that second point gives me the RL value at your second point. Now likewise, third point, if I want to determine my RL value, then the height of the instrument with respect to which this third point was taken, the staff reading at that third point was taken, and minus your staff reading. And here in this case, with respect to that third point position, there is a shift in instrument. So whenever there is a shift in instrument, you have once again what is called as the backside reading existing at that third point with regard to new station position. So next, whenever you say you have shifted your instrument, immediately calculate what is the height of the instrument with regard to the new position. From the reference data, where is the line of collimation of the instrument is existing after shifting. How do we calculate height of instrument? Height of instrument is equal to RL value, what I had with regard to some particular point, plus the backside reading, what I have with regard to the same point. That gives me the height of the instrument. And the story is same. Okay. Once the height of instrument is known, if I want to calculate the RL value of the next point, RL value of the next point is equal to height of the instrument minus the staff reading what I have on that particular next point. And that's how we continue to solve your problem. And whatever we have solved, how do I know whether it is correct or wrong? I repeat, how do I ensure that so-called RL values which I have calculated are correct or wrong. Okay, so that we can do by carrying out a check. I repeat, so we can try to carry out what is called as an arithmetic check. Based on that particular check, we can try to conclude that your values what you have calculated, that is RL values what you have calculated from your height of instrument method are correct values. So how do we, what is that arithmetic check that we have got? At that particular check by which we can try to understand that your problem what you have solved for determining the RLs is correct. What is that check? So my check what we have got here is sum of all back sides minus sum of all four sides should be equal to last RL value what you have minus the first RL value that you have. The last RL value data minus the first RL value data. Now, what is my sum of all the back sides? How many back sides you have got? 4 back sides are there. Under this back sides column, you have 4 back sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sum of all these back sides, if you are calculating, you are getting it as 5.964 meters. Okay. So 5.964 meters is the sum of all back sides minus sum of all the 4 sides. How many 4 sides? I've got once again 4 side values. So sum of all those 4 sides, if I'm trying to calculate, I'm getting it as 6.916 meters. Okay. Sum of back sides minus sum of 4 sides, if I calculate, I'll get some number. How much is that I am getting? 5.964 minus 6.916. I'm getting that value to be minus 0.952. And this value should be equal to what? Last RL. What was the last RL value that I have got for my level survey that I have carried out? The last RL value which I have calculated is 431.432 minus. What is my first RL value that I have started with? That is 432.384. Okay, 431.432 minus 432.384. If you calculate, you will be getting the value as minus 0.952. Okay, this value is already, we have got it as minus 0.952. It means minus 0.952 is equal to minus 0.952. It means your values what you have calculated by height of instrument method are correct. In case if this check is not satisfied, what is that check? Summation of back sides minus summation of 4 sides data. If it is not coming out to be equal to the difference of last RL value and the first RL value, if that condition is not satisfied, it means your RL values what you have calculated based on height of instrument method, those RL values are not the correct RL values. Maybe at some particular place, you might have committed the mistake in calculating your RL values. So you have to be little careful.